Deep in my mind, even my inner critic is still a mystic. You're unrefined, raw and uncut like a prism, bending time to time. Mirrors break, they multiply. Fuck what they say, these feelings don't subside. Obsessions fade over time, but what remains, love is whatever we make it tonight. Did they mention the pride before the fall? 'Cause I would risk it all for you. What they say about the writings on the wall, no clue. Baby, I adore you. Baby, I adore. Baby, I adore you. Baby, I adore. Baby, I adore you. Whew. Hey, what's up, everybody? Another one to definitely hard to get out of. That was Waterfall, I Adore You by Yeba. Channeled song today. Very hot and heavy for sure. Real deep song. I love just the first line, the first couple lines. Deep in my mind, even my inner critic is still a mystic. Get into that. But that's the vibe this at this time. I was about to say this morning, but it damn sure ain't morning no more. It's much late in the afternoon for me, even to be getting started. But that was the song that came up. I'll definitely post it below and on the community tab. It's a vibe. It's a whole vibe. I definitely suggest you get into it. So hope you're doing well today, this Thursday, December 28th, inching closer and closer to the new year, just around the river bend. Literally the river bend where I am, because it's been raining for like the past 2 days, which ironically, I didn't even connect that, but waterfall, the rain, okay, thank you, Spirit, okay, got it. But definitely interested to see what the message is today. Yeah, because the energy's been quite interesting, wouldn't you say? I won't project anything yet, but I did have a thought earlier today, but so that I don't impress that on the reading, on the message, I'll wait, and if it comes up, pardon me, then I'll share it. But otherwise, let's just get into what the present energy is right now, okay? Oh, okay. High passion, inspiration, power, creativity. Heavy on the passion, for sure. Heavy on the passion. Purposeful action in the highest vibration. An infusion of energy and maybe even an energetic upgrade of a supernatural nature, an ethereal essence, really like an escalation of energetic force from where you may be now to, I don't know, like some new height or some great expansion of sorts, like an aha moment almost. That's what I'm getting. Is that aha or is that more the Ace of Swords? I think it could still be the Ace of Wands too, because that aha moment incites a response or reaction, like eureka type of thing. Like, I got it. I know what to do. I know how to move forward, or, something, a breakthrough. There it is. That's what, ooh, okay. I like the sounds of that. Breakthrough in the building. And then that plane, here go the plane. Thank you for that confirmation. Okay, I like a breakthrough of passion, a breakthrough of power, new intensity. Interesting. In the time frame that we're in, particularly, we're still in our full moon phase in Cancer. Maybe there's been a lot of downloading energetically and emotionally that's made way for a breakthrough of how to respond or react, or I've just heard bring closure to that information, or bring closure to, I don't know, bring closure to something, to begin again, because it's definitely about a fresh start, a new opportunity in some way, shape, or form. Power forward. Yeah, that's what I hear. Okay, nice. I think I'm gonna take that out. There we go. Yeah, let's start with that. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, okay. He says somebody wants to come out. That's too many, but that was the Temperance card. That obviously wanted to be seen as well. So maybe there's some balance with this energetic force, especially given we got the Knight of Wands coming out, that can almost incite an ambition. Remember, I said, like, to go do something, to respond, react. This is the energetic response, like, eureka, I got it, now I'm going to go do it, type of thing. Interesting. What's he going to go do? Let me see something on the other side of that. Oh, hold up. Eureka, he got it. He gonna go get it. Like, fuck to do it. He gonna go get it. This is somebody that has had an aha moment in maybe a sudden or an intense surge of passion for a partnership. Okay. Ace of Wands. I like the Ace of Wands with the Knight of Wands though, because, and the Temperance. That was key, because Spirit be knowing me, and Spirit knows when I see a Knight, I'm already on guard. Like, hold up, what's going on here? What you want? But coming from the Ace of Wands, that's a universal ordinance of passion, something that is sustainable, I will say. And then with the Temperance, that's the balance of that energy. So it's not the fleeting, overambitious, lusty passion, perhaps even perverted passion that sometimes can come along with the Knight of Wands, where it's not too reliable. It's kind of in and out, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, here today, going tomorrow, for a good time, not a long time type of vibrations. That's not what you want to see coming, particularly to a Two of Cups situation, where two people will need to be on the same page, both emotionally available and, in agreement for some type of energetic, dare I say, even love exchange. You don't want that for the most part, you would be cautious about it coming from the Knight of Wands by itself, with no other support system in place. But here we have spiritual support. We have spiritual inspiration. There it is. It's like, this is the inspiration, this is the motivation, and it's coming from a pure place. And then we have spiritual support with the Temperance card, that's balancing out so that it's not just like pure unadulterated passion, like, lust pretty much, but it's something it's just an excitement and a surge of urge. I don't know, like a surge of just, I mean, just passion, enthusiasm to, it definitely has a conquer inflection to it, as most of the nights kind of do. But it's like, this is what it's giving me. It's like somebody finally got it. You know what I mean? Like something just kind of clicked, or whatever this upgrade that was needed for them to, because you know what it is? The Ace of Wands is like divine confidence. That's what it is with the wand energy. This is somebody that maybe did in his own right didn't necessarily see the potential, divine potential of his passion, but now sees it in a more, like, remember I said, a higher perspective or a more expansive form, like to see more than just what meets the eye, even in his own hand, if you get what I'm saying. Like seeing that it's so much deeper and higher and more exalted, like that his passion is sacred, you know, and that it makes a profound impact. And now having that knowledge, that certainty, that confidence, that clarity, is like the key to feeling not only worthy to insert that passion into something that matters, but willing first, for sure, worthy, and then capable, you know, capable of meeting the challenge, whatever because there would be an expectation here, as I said, to meet a certain reciprocation, you know, not to just be coming in flying by night, but to actually be in commitment or devotion here. And this is someone that finally feels like, at least is how I'm picking it up, that they have what it takes. Let's see what else is on the other side of this of this Knight. Oh, I said King of Wands, Knight of Wands. Let's see what else we got. Oh, that's a lot. So do I want to take that? Yeah, I'll take that. It's only 3. Oh, transformation. Yeah, okay. Wow, this is powerful. This is someone that, like, it seems like they transformed overnight. And it's interesting that I went backwards to go forward. Ooh, that's deep. I know I just said something, but I'm not sure what I just said. But it's like somebody had to die to, or lay some significant aspects of themselves to rest. And I say significant because it was long standing, like something that they were either conditioned to do or be, or way they were conditioned to be, that seemed safe. You know, this is what this 7 of Wands energy is giving me. Like this, it was a protective measure for survival, even like something that was significant for someone's own survival or stability, I would even say. To feel grounded, to feel secure. But, you know, to some degree, it wasn't pure holistically, but it was empowering enough for the time being and for whom he was in another life. And there was a transformation that took place. Could have been a spiritual death with the Hierophant here. Definitely a dying to the conventions of society, like almost being, dare I say, enslaved to some degree to the conventions of society or expectations of society. And this could be intimately or on a grander scale, could just be like close quarters of surroundings, and you answering to the call of that nature, you know what I mean? Like in a very Darwin aspect of expression where, you know, survival of the fittest, and you do what you gotta do to keep your head above water. as dictated and ordained by your surrounding existence, you know. But this is, I mean, just to go back in time to go forward, it's like it was good for a time. Obviously, it sustained mortality in some way, or sustained him from his own mortality, I should probably say, in the physical sense. But it was the spiritual death that truly aligned him for this resurrection of passion, of an unlimited life force. Like, this is somebody that can fight. You know what I mean? Like, this is like the energy of somebody that could fight. Even with the Knight of Wands, that's like some fierce energy there. Like, they could throw hands, they could hold hands for sure. You know what I mean? Like, almost no match when it comes to the scrap. You know, but it's a different type of fight in the spiritual sense. It's like the transition or transformation of someone that learned how to transmute that fierce energy into something true, like really undefeatable. That's what I'm getting. Almost overcoming death to some degree, or at least death in the way that it was going, you know, because by this, like, live by the sword, die by the sword, even though these are not that, but, you know, there was a certain lifestyle here, or submission to reality that was not leading to an eternally prosperous or productive place, you know, like I said, just like somebody that knows how to survive in the streets and knows how to hold his own. But we know in maturation that you're far more fierce by what's working on the inside of you than what you could ever really do in the physical form most times. And yeah, it could be translatable for sure, depending on who it is, but even with like professional boxers and such, it's like the mind and the spirit of that man, of that athlete, that has to be shaped a certain way, you know, as in the sense of a warrior, even like a killer. Think about Mike Tyson, like he was shaped with a killer instinct and a killer mind before he even really got into the ring. Like, that was the mentality that inspired him. Case in point with the Ace of Wands, that was the energy, the life force that fueled his drive and his ambition to defeat any opponent that was in front of him, you know. So I don't even know what I'm saying here, but shoot, this is it's like, oof, it's like a, ooh, like like the energy is it's pretty intense. And you know, the other part of the song that I just sang is when she says, "You're unrefined, raw and uncut like the prisms, bending time to time." And I just talked about like me going back to go forward, and this is like raw energy, you know, like ferocious, uninhibited, unbridled passion, you know, like, ooh, I don't know where this is going, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I'm into it. All right, let's see. So Page of Wands, that's a message for a new opportunity. What's that? Where's that going? Ooh, okay. Excuse me. For the 10 of Cups. Oh my goodness. And the 4 of Cups. Oh, this is somebody that refused to be a casualty of death. Not in the way that it was mapped out for them to be. They said, what's that? Isn't that what's that, Game of Thrones, with when is that, I think it's Arya when she says not today death, or what do we say to death, not today. That line, I might find that clip and post that too. I love that show, man. That show is amazing. I wonder if the second part of the series is coming back. I think the strike kind of threw a lot of things off in that regard, but I wonder if it is on the roster to return, or if they're filming again or anything. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I'm getting from this. It's like it's weird how I'm seeing this, because I'm not reading how I typically read. So it's something special about this, but I don't feel tapped into it quite yet, as usual. But the Page of Wands here is a message, an invitation is what I hear, to expand, okay, into this more, okay, so maybe this partnership is the invitation to this expansion of happiness, of legacy. You know, like I said, it was like somebody was on a certain trajectory before, really kind of lonely out here on this limb if you get into it with the Seven of Wands, like kind of him against the world energy. And to have gone backwards and kind of like reclaimed his, I hear soul. Oof, what the frick is going on here? Somebody like reclaimed their soul and took back their power. I guess maybe one and the same. And this is like the fresh start to almost have life again, or a new leash on life. Yeah. Is it leash or lease? I never know. I think it's a new lease on life, or a new leash on, I think it's a new lease on life. Whatever, you know what I mean. Lease, literally, contract, you know, like a refreshing of a contract that was supposed to go one way. And now it's like, it was like resurrected or regenerated. And here's the Page of Wands, which is like again, it's the new start to expand in a new way. And it's good news with the Page of Wands in this regard. This is what we like to see. It's like a derivative of the Ace of Wands, and somebody being accepting of that invitation and that good news to start life fresh and have it turn out differently this time. Refusing this death energy, like, nah, that's not what's happening here. Like, oh, I just got like, who was that? Was that Jacob? Yes. Oh my goodness, this is deep. I just got the vision of, well, obviously not the actual, I don't know, maybe I do have the vision, but what I'm hearing is the scripture of Jacob wrestling with the angel of the Lord, in that exchange of which then he was renamed Israel. You know, I guess I'll post that scripture too. I remember all this stuff. Yeah, like he was wrestling with God, so it says, but I think it depicts it as the angel of the Lord, like what do we say to death? Not today type of energy. And then out of that, it says that he wrestled day and night, pretty much demanding a blessing. And so he got one. He refused to relent to his own demise, particularly in the carnal form. And so that boldness, that audacity is what afforded him not just a regeneration of his mortal being, but eternality, because then he was named Israel, you know, and it was that expression of like God's chosen, God's favorite, and that was the beginning of a whole, oh my goodness, like a whole new legacy of creation, literally a new lease on life, a new covenant with the divine. Oof. I knew that. I've told you I knew this was. I felt it. I feel it, and I still don't even really like. I know. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna keep going. Okay, of course, of course. This was the energy. Yeah, but look at it though. You see how it's flowing, just like how it's like this was the entity that wanted to claim, like almost keep him imprisoned. Oh my gosh. To keep him bound in his own mental instability and imbalance, like almost a prisoner in his own mind. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. His lower nature wanted to keep him bound. And that is what he refused to be held captive of. And I'm seeing with this Four of Cups, it's like that's the spirit offering him, like, here, this is the best I could do for you. And it's like, no, that ain't good enough. I need something. Like, this is the wrestle with God here, literally, with the Ace of Wands, the Death. Like, this is deep. Like, no, I need something more than that. I can't just sip that and accept my fate. Like, this can't be it. There's gotta be more. Oof. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. Let's do one more row, I think. I don't know, that's too many. But that's the Seven of Wands. And that was the Tower and the Page of Swords. Some observation of a burning tower. Or observation. I don't know. I'm gonna let it go because it didn't even pop out. So let's see what else we got here. Justice. My God, my God. My God, my God. Let me try to move this up just a tad. I know that Ace of Wands probably will be out the frame at least a little bit, but you get the point at this point, right? Sorry, you know how I get, so just bear with me. And when it's lined up like this, I still can't quite see if it's right, but I just want to move up just a bit. All right, there we go. All right, so we got the Justice card here, which, I mean, more or less speaks for itself, but let's see what else we got. And I will say this now. Well, let me keep going, because now that the Ace of Wands is out here, I guess that probably was my confirmation to say what I was feeling when I said I'll wait to see how the energy comes up, to kind of shed light on what I heard. Okay, so what I heard, I'm gonna keep shuffling if I can, but what I heard today was fire and brimstone, and it came up as with Mercury being a Sag. That's like two truth-telling signs, but get into it. It's like, well, I was really connected to Gemini as Earth in that moment, even though it is air, but the Sagittarius energy on, but also get into the fact that we're in so it does make sense. We're in Capricorn, definitely with oh man, this is interesting. We're in Capricorn, which is an earth sign and very directive and stern and structural. And then of course Sagittarius being Mercury being retrograded in Sag now is the fire, and that's what I heard. It just came to me like fire. It's like, and then when I let myself get into it a bit, it was expressing itself as why the energies have been kind of coming up the way that they have lately for me, particularly kind of like, heavy in the judgment and justice realm, because there's this transmission of fire and brimstone that's happening through this retrograde. Two truth tellers and a power force with Capricorn, a directive, like literally fire and brimstone, the earth element, and then the Gemini, which is kind of just blowing on the flames type of energy. And the thing about that force is that it can be, oh my gosh, and the song makes a lot of sense now too. It can be transformative in a high vibrational way, the way that like diamonds are transformed in fire. And it can also be, singeing, really to the soul to some degree. So it's like, it just depends on what side of the truth you resonate with. But that's why it's coming forth the way that it is. And that's connected to the point of your unrefined, raw and uncut, like the prisms. That's the expression of this. I think it's called when you capitulate. I always mess that word up. But that's that process of refining raw material into diamonds. That's the energy that's being transmitted, and not just by me, but in the season in general. And those that some are being refined by it and rendered as something more beautiful and more pristine or crystallized to some degree. And then some are feeling burned by it, feeling singed and diminished in some way, even though it's all for the same purpose, more or less. But it's just a matter of how you're receiving it. But it is justified. The Justice card here, Yeah, see. Here's the Five of Cups, that energy, like the complete 180 from the 10 of what I was just saying. That can be the fate, if that's what that can be the impact if that's how you perceive it. It can be, or it can be liberation and glory and liberty in a very magnificent way. All right, let's see a few more. Yeah, and then here we got, this is like the overcoming though, or at least the invitation to healing. Yeah, because this is the energy of the trauma that would justifiably put man in this place and time, but it's given that he chose to heal. Like I said, refusing to relent, to succumb to his trauma, his pain, unfavorable experiences of the past. Like we all have that invitation. We can become a victim of it or victor despite it. Then we got the Nine of Pentacles here. Let me see what's on the other end of that. Yeah. It just seems like he has some motivation. Perhaps it was the potential, just the mere potential of that real love exchange was the motivation, but there was some decision, some deciding had to take place. Damn, and I just hear like his decision mattered for the other too. This is so crazy. See how there's a couple bound here? This is deep, y'all. This couple bound here, it's like he had a big decision to make that didn't just impact his well-being, which is what makes his overcoming that much more amazing. Because he could have, what this is giving me is that he had all rights and it was justifiable as to why he should just like give up, throw in a towel, like it ain't looking good. There was so much trauma, so much of a, how can I even say it, like so much disappointment, so much abuse is what I'm feeling. Just life, a life of lemons is what I'm sensing. Like, look, yeah, with the Nine of Pentacles here, like a life of lemons, but he ain't have a whole garden like her. He just had maybe one or two at a time that it was like really balancing or juggling the lesser of all evils all the time. Like someone that continuously just felt like they were in a loop of an unsavory life, a karmic life to some degree, like just unfair. Damn, I feel this so heavy too. That they would have had, they had every reason to just completely surrender to their dark side, like just be overtaken by like, fuck the world, fuck everybody in it, like I'm done here type of vibe, like completely be consumed by their lower nature and possessed by it. That's what these two energies are giving me here. But there was some great strength and will that was exercised here amidst a great deal of contemplation with the Two of Pentacles and having not very, like I said, it's like somebody weighing the good against the bad, but they see more, he's looking down, it seems like they see more cons than pros, or at least more threats than, wins. Like, well, if I do this, then blah, blah, blah. It could go, like somebody that could see all the things that could go wrong more than they could see, the possibilities of it being a success or things turning out in their favor. And mainly on account of the fact that they've had a life of feeling unlucky, you know what I mean? So why start now believing for anything more than that? So that is a great feat to have overcome in itself. And this is somebody that did that. And I'm getting with this Nine of Pentacles, it's like his determination not only impacted and affected his eternal existence, like how his like his fate, more or less, how his fate got to play out. It also made an impact on whomever there was even a possibility to connect with in this Ten of Cups. That means it kind of like would have shut it down for both of them. And they both would have been bound to this like dense, this is given like societal oppression, meaning just like your 3D waking material life is just kind of like, you know what I mean? And to demonic forces that would have been more, that would have had more leeway or open availability. This energy would have been more vulnerable, pretty much. Like a damsel in distress type of energy right here. If like he would have left his partner open for attack and open to be hosted just like him. And of course it would have been up to that energy. And this, I feel like this is more than just a he, she, like this is about sacred unions here. Like how each has kind of needed each other to survive, that there needed to be this insistence on not just survival, but thriving on both sides, and a persistence in faith is what I'm feeling amidst a great deal of hopelessness, as it seems, because like even when you get down to the very end here, he still had the power was still in his hands. And yeah, like in essence, the Nine of Pentacles is an energy where like she's okay, you know what I mean? Like she's a single gal, she don't really need anyone. But imagine the difference between this fate and that one. It's like, and also the covering of that divine union by way of the masculine energy over the feminine would have been the missing piece. As I said, yeah, she may be okay in her own right, but look at this oppressive force here overhead and her just kind of sitting here open like a sitting duck. she would have to be hella strong, first of all, to withstand all that. And even if she didn't necessarily die or succumb to any dark nature or, like sell her soul per se, and I'm speaking feminine, masculine energy generally, sell her soul, like I said, it still would have been like a relenting to the fate as it would have been dictated by forces that shouldn't have that jurisdiction. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be up to society or for any dark diabolical force as to whether or not she gets to be single, ready to mingle for the rest of eternity, or be living in a harmonious partnership with her kingdom spouse or, divine partner, creating a legacy. This is what's ordained for the rest of eternity. It's a great disparity here. It's like, I hope you understand what I'm saying. And it's something that's the heaviness of this decision making, why it was so imperative. The fight was so imperative, but again, back to this, learning not, it couldn't have just been done with the hands, because you can't fight the spirits, especially not the dark, dense ones. You can't square up against depression and anxiety and worthlessness and pain and fear and oh man, so many things with this devil energy. Like, you can't fight that with physical force. It has to be fought in the spirit. It has to be fought energetically. Where there's a certain power from an intangible source that gives you the tools to literally withstand the wiles of the devil in some great and powerful way, which is, again, is not easy to do, particularly in the 3D form or powered by the spiritual realm, or I should say the energetic force. So I guess it's spiritual too, to some degree, with the devil card, of which you can't even see most of the time. Sometimes you don't even know where it came from. You just know that it's real to you. You don't know why you feel the way that you feel. You don't feel worthy. You feel worthless, and you don't have confidence in yourself, and you don't believe that you are capable. That's where the insurgents came from. Like, this is where it came. This is where it transformed from. This space here of feeling like you don't have what it takes. Like, you're only as good as your wand in a very carnal sense, primal sense. You know what I mean? Like, you not knowing the power and authority that you wield, particularly, again, when we're talking about these divine unions, that the masculine is more than just his wand in spirit and in truth, that's the power of that seed right there. And we need it to be in the highest form, the highest frequency and vibration, because we've had enough lower vibrational seeds spread all about the planet now, giving the feminine the charge, the overcharge, the supercharge to either transmute and transform that energy in her being, or just toil with the transmission as it gets to be. And it's like almost double duty, literally almost having to carry the legacy, or at least the responsibility of the legacy in her entire being, in a lot of ways. Maybe not holistically across the board for everyone, but even consider when you have two partners that are physically together, they're not always on the same page, particularly not spiritually. And there's a great deal of spiritual and societal investment that goes into keeping that reality alive, So the ascension of these couples that are on the same page at square one, that are willing to support one another in pure passion, to protect each other, to push one another to be their greatest, to create in an infinite expression of consciousness, to love one another unconditionally, not accepting anything less than unconditional love from one another, helping each other heal through their traumas and their, and to turn away from toxicities and to really find justice for what has been a very unjustifiable suppression and oppression of these energies individually and collectively is the ordinance of supreme source, I believe, for sure, which is why there's been so much resistance and opposition to it in spirit and in truth. And here it is, it's playing out. It's playing out. And like I said, it's like literally having to go back to go forward, but it's like forward to go back, like how you saw how I was reading it on the board, like literally this is like, I usually read this way, and that's interesting because that's how Jewish people read too. And I talked about the story about Jacob and the transformation to Israel from right to left. You know what I mean? Oh, this is so deep. This is so deep. All right, but I ain't gonna beat it down. All right, here's the 5 of Wands, and what's the conflict about? Oh boy. Well, I don't know what to say about that. Ooh, this is somebody's mad. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting this because what the King of Wands is like. I'm sorry, the King of Swords. All right, let me say this clearly. Because the king, I could just only say it how I feel it. I mean, hell, that's just been the nature of this entire message, hasn't it? It's like the King of Swords is one that is a bit emotionally detached, highly cerebral and logical and intellectual indeed. But there's a bit of a conflict here, a mental conflict, because the other aspect of that, given I just was talking about like divine unions and stuff, is that they, like I said, they can be a bit emotionally detached. And also there's the inflection with the King of Swords that there's a detachment from partnership, i.e. with the Queen of Swords. She's not out here, of course, but that's all that came up for me when I just saw these cards together, particularly leading with the conflict, confusion, chaos, competition. It's like representing that old world mentality is what this represents to me of what wants to take precedence and wants to prevail as the supreme force, literally wants to be above the competition, better than the competition, to win out the competition to some degree. But it's like we started with cups, you know what I mean? We started with passion, we started with love. There are no other swords on the board except for the 3 of Swords. And why? Because leaning into that understanding of life and reality alone is ultimately what leads to disappointment and heartbreak. It's what got you here in the first place. And now to only be reliable on those instincts of which are objective and strategic, and that everything makes sense and is very 1 + 1 = 2, and with great passion for it too, like being very grounded and this is, to me, is given like someone very stubborn in that way of being, instead of being open. Like it's not the same energy as someone that's open to experiencing life a new way. This is another aspect of the energy of which it feels safe to operate this way, to know that everything makes sense. You don't have to rely on intuition or anything outside of your logical mind or anything outside of what you can see. There's that too. That dependency is too uncertain for an energy such as this to feel like there's more than, like, to have the faith beyond, when we say that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. This is someone that needs to see to believe, ultimately. And that conflict of security and stability by that way is an entanglement all its own. It doesn't really lead, it doesn't free up the spirit to guide you to a place where you can accept the impossibilities, or I should say even refuse the impossibilities that this life sometimes may confront you with, to have the strength to say like, nah, that's not my fate. This is somebody that would say like, oh well, I guess if I can't, if I can't talk my way out of it, or if I can't see a way out of it, then there must not be one. I guess this is what it is. I guess I can only do it the way that I've always known to do it. There can't possibly be any better way. That's the opposite energy here, and that's what I'm feeling. So this is like representative of those that are not willing to be vulnerable. There it is, to the spiritual, to spiritual intimacy. Bam, that's it. They're not willing to be vulnerable. And this is, again, generally speaking, because this could be masculine or feminine, right? But it came up very specifically as the King of Swords, because that's a very proactive and almost stoic approach, I would say, to this new vibration of intimacy that is flowing through the realm, coming through and passionately, like, like busting through to some degree, in a way that you could, if you can only deny it if you truly want to. If you like, this is it, the conflict right here. Someone that is refusing to succumb to this new inspiration that's in the realm, this new surge of passion, this new surge of progression, and that's pushing against that progressive experience, because it doesn't make sense to them, or it doesn't feel, well, because they don't feel safe to indulge in it, or to allow it to saturate their being. And those are the energies that are more or less going to be left out of the spoils of this, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I just hear it as spoils, like the treasures of, I guess to the victor go the spoils, right? The ones that were willing to fight through what seemed impossible, one way or another, are the ones that will receive the spoils of that victory. I guess that's just that on that. And that does actually align with the energy of the fire and brimstone that I'm talking about, because the energy that I'm speaking of was no less singed by their on their journey than one that stands to be singed by what I'm saying now. If that makes sense. It's like there was a great deal of challenge and charge that had to be overcome in this experience here, but for the purposes of an exalted life expression. Like there was a purpose behind that process that has led to something beautiful, crystallized to some degree, like the beauty of that process of turning coal into diamonds, or rock into diamonds, whatever the substance is, that raw energy, that raw material into diamonds. And this is like the fire and brimstone that burns, like that truth, that truly hurts to some degree, to face the reality that you went against the grain of life in the ways that would have afforded you the experience that all ultimately desire to have. There was a constant fight against that process, not fight through it, but fighting against it. There's a difference. This is someone that fought through the process to render themselves victorious. This is someone that fought against it to not even have to really engage, like he's literally on the outside in, to not have to engage, and therefore missing the impact that the process rendered, if that makes sense. You know, somebody like that took the shortcuts, that went around and about, that went the way society guided and got what they were looking for, but now it's fleeting, and now it's like, now you're looking at the process all over again, thinking, you know, thinking you had kind of got one up or skipped the line, and it's like the process is still the process, no matter what, you know. So the fire and brimstone for such energies as this is that you still get to go through it. You know, it's just now you go through it with a different perspective than you would have perhaps when you first received the invitation. You know, so, but we already did that yesterday. I'm not going back in on that because this reading was too good, and it's really not so much about the high or the low. I just like to give the polarities because that's just my come from with all my Libra energy, you know, literally the justice, the this and the that. So there's that, there's what it is, but for sure, I think it's a profound word of truth of the potential for these unions that perhaps are already online and in one accord to now evolve, because there's that as well, which I hardly say, but there's that as well, which, you know, where people that are already in commitment or connection may be able to look to the evolution of that, an expansion of that commitment in a physical way, in a spiritual way, in a material way, intellectually, culturally, I didn't really mean to say that, but hopeful, maybe, definitely the legacy of love being expanded from what is. And I think I said that in the very beginning, like going from what is to something more expansive or more elevated. So there's the potential for that for existing couples, and then of course for the union of new energy, or, you know, reunion of energies that have been disconnected in some way, shape, or form to now come together in the way that was always designed for them to do so, you know, by way of the process that they both had to embark upon, independently and collectively and voluntarily. You know, they had to submit themselves to a process of elevation and ascension, and, you know, to receive this ultimate exaltation of passion now coming together on one accord. You know, what a beautiful thing. I think that's amazing. Yeah, so there's that. Waterfall, huh? I'm glad. I'm interesting that the Ace of Wands came up and not the Ace of Cups, given I was guided to that song today. But surely, you know, well, we do have the Two of Cups, so maybe that is the waterfall, the colliding of two celestial waters, you know, or like I said, the Ten of Cups, which makes sense too, right? For sure. A beautiful rainbow of a waterfall, which sometimes you can see a rainbow when you look at waterfalls, can't you? That inflection from the crystallization of the water. Yeah, so it's here, it's all here, it's here for sure. But the passion, the aha, the surge of enthusiasm, I guess perhaps would lead the way, right? To lead you to that overflow, you know, for sure. So be guided in spirit and in truth. Allow your intellectual and your emotional intelligence to lead you on the right path to this connection, this commitment, as you stay committed and devoted to your own passion. There it is. You know, that's the way to it without having to even move your feet, to invest that energy and surge yourself with that dynamic force, to be a magnetic expression for the attraction thereof. So yeah. All right, so that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Yeah, take this as it resonates. And of course, as always, until next time, I leave you with peace.